December day. It is December 14th, 2022, 5 o'clock p.m. We're gonna ask that we all have a moment of silence, pause for the invocation. Heavenly Father, thank you for allowing us to be here. Allow us to conduct your business as you see fit. In your son Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Minutes for the previous meeting. Are there any questions about the meeting minutes? Be it that there is not any questions, is there a motion to approve the meeting minutes as presented? So moved. Been moved and seconded. All those in favor, please let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? It's in the opinion of the chair, the ayes have it, the motion carries. Item number 1, ordinance renaming streets. So as we already talked about this in detail, as we already set this up. We met with the zoning and planning board. The zoning and planning board had one recommendation or two recommendations. One that we already had said that we just wanted to do this naming one time a year. So we're gonna add that into that ordinance. And they had a recommendation. And they had a recommendation to increase the cost from $250 to $500. That being said, to make sure that somebody who's interested in doing it is legitimate, and we don't have 15,000 requests to rename street. So that being said, those are the recommendations. That was the only thing we were really waiting on from the board. They liked the agenda or the ordinance and were for it. So with that being said, what are the council's thoughts so we can vote this up or down? Yeah, I will try to go ahead.
Yeah.
So like the person that's making the recommendation or want to have a street named after them, they would have to pay $500
Correct.
to have it.
And meet all the other criteria that go along with that.
So the process will be they will go before the board. First, they have to fill out an application. Once they fill out the application, then that goes to the board. The board would only meet one time a year. So that application will be saved until they meet at the end of the year, and then they will review all those applications. Once the application met the criteria, they will make a recommendation for up or to the council, or it would not come out of the committee and it would stay inside of the committee because it gets voted down. But some of the requirements, like we just as a reminder, were they had to write autobiography on the person that we want to get the street named after. They have to get a percentage of the residents to agree to the naming of that street, and then do some paperwork, pretty much contacting 911 to make sure it's not named again. Like there'll be 2 Talia Ball streets instead of just one street because it's already one name in that 911 area. But those are some of the requirements. But other than that, those after they met those criteria, then it would come up out of the committee. And if they voted for yes, that's favorable, then okay. If it's not, then it's not. The threshold is they gotta do something significant, not something that's where they just had a barbecue on the first Thursday in July and everybody like, something like that.
So like when they go through the planning and zoning board. So then if the planning and zoning board agrees or they agree to make it, pass. So then are they gonna come before the council, or will it be just basically left in their hand, or do they have to come to
No.
us still?
The final say so will come from the council. So the council would receive the recommendation from the board, from that committee, and then we would all vote on it and say yay or nay to it. Yes, sir.
When is the $500 due?
At the time of application. Good question.
Non-refundable?
Yeah,
Sir, non-refundable, yes, non-refundable. Yeah. Great question.
Oh, what percentage of the residents? Oh, you on the street, right?
Yes, on the street,
What percentage?
75% of those residents. I mean, I was thinking 80 or 90, but I mean, you might have somebody that they park on their grass and they don't like them, but and that's based on the people who are touching their property. So just like a trailer, you have to contact all those people who are touching that property. Anybody who's touching that street, you oppose. So if there were 100 people on the street, you poll. We have to send out letters to all 100 of them, and then those that responded favorably, it would have to be at least 75%.
The price, I would say the 500 I'm good for, but we could refund if it don't go through 250 back. That's my.
So what you're saying is $500
Mhm.
if it gets approved. If it does not get approved, they get refunded half of their money back.
Right.
But we keep the other 250
Right.
after processing.
Right.
I don't have an issue with it.
I do.
If it's not approved, it's not their fault. We shouldn't take the money.
Well, and I think and I understand that concept, but there's a cost to everything. So although it might not be approved, number one, they need to make it's not gonna get approved if it don't meet the criteria. So if they not a person of valor, then they not gonna get approved. But it's just like a special event license, like alcohol. You gotta pay $75 whether it get approved or whether it don't get approved. For the processing of the paperwork. So it's not, and I think that kind of gives I'm sorry, I think I agree what Councilman Wilkins suggestion, I think kind of gives a balance to it to say, hey, it's $500 upfront. If it gets approved, then we keep it all $500. If it does not get approved, we give you $250. $250 back to show, like what you said, it's not their fault that it didn't get approved, but it didn't meet the criteria. You can try again next year or write a better application and maybe it might come. I'll get a different person, but I know you want to make it so people can afford to do it, but if we make it, where it's not a lot of criteria for it, then people are gonna come and then the board is not gonna.
where does the 75% of the people on the street fall into the application process? Getting it approved by 75 people, 70% of the people that live on the street?
Mhm.
Where does that fall in the application process? Does that happen before they apply and pay the $500 or after?
So they would turn, I guess, to just kind of walk through because I don't want to misstate your answer. So what they would do is they turn the $500 in and the application at the same time. That starts the process. And then once they do that, then the board has a board and the office staff, they got a responsibility to mail out letters to all how many other people it is that's on that street. And that's where the 75% will come in. So the people will get the letters from us as a city to say, hey, are you for this? Check this box. Are you against this? Check this box. And then they will send that letter back to the city.
Yeah.
Did I answer your question?
Yeah, for sure. I just don't think that you should lose your $500 because your neighbor has ill will against you.
Right, and that's right, and that's where the percentage comes in, because, you know, if it's an upstanding person, most people gonna agree that it's like
And I agree with that, for sure. That'd be the hope.
but the problem is if you do somebody who people majority are overwhelmingly don't like, and they say, well, I'm gonna name it, and forgive me for the term, Putin Street, out, because I think Vladimir Putin is a nice person or whatever, and you get a street name, they go through the criteria, they say, oh, and for some reason they come through the board and make a recommendation, then you got people on the street that ain't gonna like him because of who he is or whatever. That's just an example. So you want to have not just the majority of people, but overwhelming majority, because it's a high
Honor.
honor to get a street name, you know, in my opinion.
Well, the way I see it is this: if I wanted to street change myself, I'm gonna work as hard as I can to make sure that I'm gonna be able to get this street turned and named for the person before I come here to apply for it with $500. Once I know the criteria with $500 before I pay it, I need to make sure that you know me in your neighborhood, you know everybody, so it's gonna be you need to do your groundwork first. Then come to us, or the board for the main street. If you want to have a problem for her, do your groundwork first.
And if they wanna do it, I mean, I'm sure that, no problem, if you wanna come to the, you know, the council, or come to the city and ask, you know, what are the criteria, can I have, like, you know, layout of what I need to do. And then, you know, once you go out and do all that, then you still can come back and have everything set to pay your $500. I think it's a good idea, $500, because you don't just want people just Joe Blow off the street that just coming, you know, all the time. And then you gotta understand that you have a board that's not paid, that's kind of well, I don't say wasting their time, but you know, they have to come in and elaborate over what's going on, and so, you know, these are people lives. So I think it's still, like, I agree with just looking and see, you know, hey, if it doesn't go through, you know, it'll be fun, a portion of that.
On the criteria side, just to kind of make sure it says on here listed as this, a biographical or historical sketch of the person or event for whom the street or facility is to be named, describing their service, describe their contributions, or describe their significance to the citizens of the city of Appleton. So that's your criteria for, you know, when you write this bill. Any more discussion? Good discussion. We're done discussing. I entertain a motion to approve the ordinance with the changes of adding they'll meet once a year, and that the application fee will be $500, and it will be refunded. $250 will be refunded if it's not approved.
Make a motion.
I second that motion.
Move to second. Any more discussion? I think did you write those down? So
I have them.
Okay. Good change. If there's no more discussion, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed? And the being the chair, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Item number 2 on all business. The National Guard rental agreement. We had some discussion about rental prices on all our properties. So we starting out with the National Guard to try to bring it up to the times. Before you see the numbers that we discussed, and I'll say them all out loud. Security deposit is $300. The security deposit you get, you will get back, or the security deposit that you give, you will get back if everything is left in order. The rental fee changed from $200 or $250 to $400. Each additional day of use, and that simply means sometimes people want to come in early and set up, which is fine, but it costs us because you still got to turn the lights, the air, and everything else on. So there's $100 fee for each day of additional use. Funeral or repast, we changed those hours from 3 hours to 5 hours, because for most of the funerals that we have, there isn't a 3-hour funeral. That body's gonna lie in state for an hour. The service is gonna be at least an hour. So that's 3 hours. And then, and that's being on the conservative side. So 5 hours, I think, is more reasonable. That gives them time to get in and get out. That fee, our price is $150. This is the National Guard we're talking about. If a nonprofit organization wants to rent the building, we have that at $100. The concert, they will still have to pay the deposit, but the rental fee would be $100. The concert fee, we had previously had it at $1,500, but after some discussion, we reconsidered replacing it at $850 for a concert fee. That means, a birthday party concert, or, whatever it is, $850. If you sell food at your event, we had that at $250. We changed it to $100. That means that if you sell a hot dog and a hamburger, or if you sell lobster and shrimp, it's $100. To us, whatever you make is whatever you make. And that's simply to make sure that you're not making money off of the city by utilizing our building without paying a fee, which is the requirement. Special event license, this fee didn't change. Just as a reminder to all citizens of Allentown who may still be watching, there is no such thing as BYOB events. So please, ma'am, please, sir, be mindful of that. If you want to have alcohol at your event, a special event license is required. It's $75 for the processing fee for a special event license, and it's $275 for the actual special event license fee. That's set by the alcohol board, so that doesn't have anything to do with it. As far as that fee goes on the event license. Security will be required for any event that we deem necessary. Security needs to be there. So it could be a birthday party, it could be there for concerts, but security will be required. Time of usage, this is something that we were discussing, from 8 a.m. to 12 a.m. That's actual event time, and then they can be out by 12:30 for cleanup and the light to be finished with the event. Maybe we'll say it
On Friday.
on Fridays, 1 o'clock on Fridays,
Friday night, Saturday morning.
1 a.m. Friday
Yeah.
and Saturday.
12.
And we'll get our law enforcement will lock it up. And then occupancy limit, that's the same, and then table and chair. So that being said, any questions about the fees?
A nonprofit, do they also have to pay the security deposit?
Yes,
Okay,
yes, they gotta pay $400
total.
total.
Okay,
They get 3 days.
we might have to clarify that a little bit better, just so nobody thinks that they You know, because if somebody they may
Okay.
read that as, hey, I'm out of the security closet, I'm a nonprofit.
Security deposit, we'll put, required by all.
Right, like, yeah, and then also the no, no bring your own beer
Mm-hmm,
situation. I also think that should have its own little area where it's either you get the license or you're not having it. Because what you're saying is there's no bring your own beer event
Right.
at all, period.
right.
Okay,
So that's a good question. So the question came up, if I'm giving away alcohol,
right.
do I still have to have a special
Business
event license?
license, yeah,
And you do.
yes, yeah,
So that was kind of put in there to clarify whether you sell alcohol or whether you give alcohol away, you still have to have a special.
I'm just trying to look out for all of us. I think we
Yes.
might should clarify that a little bit better in there too.
Okay, we can mix up the language and change it up, but most 90%.
Because you know people are gonna try to
They're gonna
try this.
Right. So we'll clean up the language on that then, make it to where, and I can't be concerned about what other people do outside. They let us know, then we'll deal with it. But as far as, like the Bible say, me and my house, us in our house, we can't have alcohol at these events and don't have special events. But we'll change that, clean up the language and say, you can't bring your own alcohol at any event in City Hall. And we just wanted to put it in language that people understood, because sometimes people act like they don't know. But if you put BYOB, they know exactly what it is.
Oh, yeah. No, I get that for sure. I'm just saying, maybe it's on a little special line.
Right. Highlight it to make sure they know. Bring your own Bible. Yeah. Bring your own beer. Bring your own beer. But that's good points, and we'll clean up that language to make it a little more user friendly. Any other questions? Concerned about the price? And we'll do the same thing with the National Guard. We'll do the same, not the City Hall, because we need to update those numbers as well. But I just want to do it building by building to make it look easier for people to see for joining.
Sure. That's great.
All right. Entertain a motion to approve the general rental prices as presented. Yes, go ahead, sorry.
So there isn't any appliance.
No. There is no kitchen appliances. There's not a refrigerator, there's not a stove, there's not an ice machine. And also we put on there that there's no air conditioning there as well, so that way they know when you rent this building, this is what you're getting. And surprisingly, we had people that, they still want to. There's some, we don't have no air conditioning. They don't mind. They broke the doors up and let the air blow through or whatever. And hopefully we'll get air conditioning one day soon, but it's just very expensive. The high school paid, I think, what, $30,000 or $40,000? Well, air conditioning, still paying for it. But anyway, yes, ma'am. Any other questions? All right. I entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Is there a second? Then moved and seconded. Is there any other discussion about approving item number 2? No old business. Be there's not, all those in favor, please let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed?
Abstain.
Gotcha. One abstention. Signature, all the ayes have it. Sorry. New business, preliminary engineering and construction agreement for the TAP or TAP program project. Last week, we got approved for the TAP grant, which is a federal grant, in the amount of $800,000. We have to provide matching funds in the amount of $200,000. This is not going to be due until the end of next year, toward the end of next year. That's when they're able to start. So it'll probably be a project that's going to start in 2024, according to the pre-construction agreement. our meeting that we had. How we'll pay it is, we get bid, and on projects like this, we get billed out monthly. So we'll pay our portion, and then, we'll pay the bill, and then we'll get reimbursed through the federal grant, by 80% of our payment. So the payment for that month was 100,000, and we would get reimbursed 80,000. So that's how the payment reimbursement works. But, so that's not gonna affect this year's budget. It'll be more so for next year's budget. But this is just a preliminary procedural part of accepting the agreement, that's defined in your packets, and going forward with the long paperwork, just like the 17th Street. Is there any questions about the TAP grant program project? All those are, if there's not, I entertain a motion to approve the preliminary engineering and construction agreement.
I'm so moved.
I second the motion.
Been moved and seconded. Then no discussion. If there's no more discussion, we entertain a vote. All those in favor, go ahead.
Okay, so,
Yes.
so this is just, as you said, preliminary,
Mhm.
and there'll be, it's basically, I guess,
So the preliminary part means that they gotta do the groundwork as far as, putting a package together. Once they get the package put together, then we still gotta put it out for bid. We gotta accept the bid person, or accept the lowest bid and all that stuff. So this is just part one of that, to get the process started and formally accept the grant.
and when you say, like the funds,
Mm-hmm.
the 200,000,
Right.
that's gonna be coming out of, I know you said it's not gonna be until,
Right, the next fiscal year that we have to worry about. We got some ways to pay it. The good thing about a TAP grant is that if you complete that TAP grant, you're more in line to get more TAP grants of more money, which it might be some more matching, but if you can get a $2 billion TAP grant and you got to match 200,000 off of it, that's not, the give and take is not too bad. And we'll leverage our resources and make sure that we utilize the funds that we have, and that's why we wise with our money and don't go out spending crazy. But I know it's something that we'll be able to do.
Hey, America, question, maybe one of the ladies, you pronounce it. Alexandra, do we still allow integrate now with, in-kind service that you can do the work? Well, they still out there?
So they are grants like that. A lot of grants that are like that. Once we get in the weeds of this one, we may be able to do some of that in-kind work with this particular grant. I know with state grants, they do it a lot. With federal grants, they more so want to see dollar for dollar. But we got, that is an option for some grants that do that. I think for one of the grants we got before in the past, we've done in-kind service. And in-kind just means that Mr. Sanders could donate his tractor and bulldoze some land, and his work time is $20 an hour, and he worked out that 8 hours and multiply that, and that money that would have been spent can be used towards the grant. So, good question. Any other questions? All right. So entertain a vote for item number 1, preliminary engineering and construction agreement. All those in favor, please I can get a motion to approve. Oh, I'm sorry. You got a second already?
You got a second?
I got a motion on the floor. Can I have a second? Oh, Tom, yes. Sorry. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, independent chair, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Item number 2, manufactured home placement. There is a resident who has a manufactured home on 17th Place Street. 17th Place Street Northwest. All the residents have been contacted who are in conjunction with the property and have approved the trailer placement. So I ask that the council approve the placement of the manufactured home. 17th Street beside you. Not beside you,
You know, in that circle,
behind you.
Like where, like,
it's gonna be on the first lot. Well, I think it's maybe
like
this.
behind, like over where.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. On the outer though, you know, like he has the middle,
Mhm.
but it'd be on the other side next to the. It's a trailer already there.
Right.
It'd be next to that.
Did I answer the question? Right there, no. Look at that. Come on, look. The requirements are that it has to be a double wide and all property adjoining property members have to agree to it being placed in that area. That's how it can be placed somewhere outside of the mobile home park. Those are the requirements for the city of Adamsville. And you gotta make it look pretty around the edges of it.
Right.
Any other discussion? If there's no more discussion, I entertain a motion to approve the manufactured home.
I second the motion.
All right, there's been a motion and a second on the floor. Is there any other discussion? Be it that there is none, we'll move to a vote. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Independent chair, the ayes have it, motion carried. Item number 3, Human Trafficking Awareness Proclamation Month. That is in January. It's something that we've always kind of done, and it just proclaimed that we're against human trafficking. So I ain't gonna take time to read it all out. You got it in your packet. If there's any discussion about it, if not, I'll entertain a motion to approve the proclamation for Human Trafficking Awareness Month.
Make a motion.
Second.
Been moved in second. Any other discussion? Being chair, there's none. All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye. Any opposed? And the chair, the ayes have it. Motion carried. Item number 4, basketball court. So we wrote a grant to get a basketball court for the citizens of Aliceville, particularly hopefully our youth, to play ball. The area where we're talking about putting it is behind the Armory National Guard in the fenced-in area. We received the grant. We won it. We got it. So that's good. What we want to do is add to that court. That court will make it about a half-size court with the grant funding amount. We're also going to utilize that for a helipad. So that way when those helicopters come in, they can sit down on a concrete slab versus sitting on the ground, on the rocks. Right. So it has a dual purpose. As of right now, we want to make it a nice court, but we want to make it a full court. It'll cost us another $4,000, I believe, to extend the court to make for the concrete. In addition to what we got for the grant, we got the grant and it was, I think, $5,000 or $6,000. But it'll take another $4,000 to extend it to make it full court. What I would like to do is for us to go ahead and make it full court, and then that way we can have a full basketball court. The helicopter can land and kids play basketball on both sides of the court.
The grant's fully funded, like it's not a match grant or
No, it's just a here's the money, do it thing. Yeah.
whatever. But you're saying the $4,000 will come out of the city.
Yes, that would be to extend the court to make it
Finish
instead of half court?
Yeah.
Okay. Any other questions about that?
Is the grant through? You wanna jump in there?
Yep, that is, I'm looking in my head, I'm looking in my Rolodex.
Is it, I'm just,
RC.
The regional from RC and D. Right. RC and D. So they'll probably come around soon with the check thing. They do a big check thing sometimes. If they do it, then I'll send it so I can know. Last year we got granted from them for what did we get? Police tasers. Last year, maybe.
The renovation of the kitchen.
Oh, renovation.
No.
Wasn't it the farmer's market?
No, we got, we got.
The cameras, the body cams, and the
Filtration
tasers.
system, body cam.
Yeah.
Pavilion.
Right.
It was the pavilion back there.
Yeah. Paint or something. Or plans. or
That's this
something.
year.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah,
That's this year.
that was this. Yeah, that was this year.
You were talking about last year.
Oh,
Friday.
last year. Well, the reason I brought it up is because now we can't apply for them this year. We got a cool off period, so we gotta wait. They got a waiting process, so we won't be able to tap into that. But we come back again in 2023, 2024. It has to be. So,
we got, did the city have $4,000?
yes,
Sorry, I was not in the minute to discuss this, but this year.
yes. Good question. Any other questions? All right, I entertain a motion to approve the extending the basketball court.
Make a motion to
Second.
approve basketball court.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor, let it be known by saying, is there any discussion? All those in favor, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Is there any opposed? Between the chair, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. Item number 5, ACE, Alabama Communities of Excellence. Alabama Communities of Excellence is the program we're in, got selected for. They're ready to start the next steps. COVID kind of slowed a lot of things down, but now they're ready to pick things up. The Alabama League of Municipalities is the parent company now. It was ACE by themselves, but now it's Alabama Municipalities and the ACE company are not company. The ACE program is under that umbrella. We kind of came in at the transition time. So, be it as it may, they're ready to go with the next steps. They were going to have a representative here today, but due to unfortunate other circumstances, they could not make it. They will be here in January, God willing. But what we need to do is pass the resolution in your packets that will show we are ready for the next step. The first step was them coming down, checking Aliceville out, seeing what's going on. They have done that. And the second phase is, the second process is, after they do their report and all this stuff, they'll come down and they'll sit with us and start making plans to improve, for lack of a better word. It'll require community engagement. So it's not just gonna be city of Aliceville, it's gonna be the community that's gonna have to reach out and do some things. So, but all that being said, all we have to do is say, yes, we are willing to move on to the next step. So,
I thought they already came down here and met with the community.
they did. They came and met with the community. But this is an extensive.
Another part, okay.
Yeah, they're gonna come down
All right,
and get groups.
okay.
John Q. citizens come in and come and talk. Establishing a leadership program. We got to come up with a comprehensive plan, a new comprehensive plan for the city of Aliceville. With a strategic plan. So the work just getting started. Believe me, I'm looking forward to it, but I'm not looking forward to it. Any other
No.
good question? All right, all those in favor of approving the ACE agreement, to complete, to go move forward with phase two. Let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, and clean the chair, aye. Added. Motion carries. Item number 6 is replace the truck for the street department. So our 1997 Ford F-150 finally bit the dust. Transmission went out on it. Got 200, 300 some thousand miles on it, and like I said, it's comped out. We need another truck so that way we have transportation for our workers. We got 12 guys. We got 11 guys and 2 trucks really. So I don't want to buy a new truck. I got a price. Actually, Mr. Algene, will you go on my desk, please, in my office and get the prices that I got on those cars? It should be Donahoe Auto and Columbus Motor Works.
Okay.
So the truck died Thursday. So ever since then, been trying to find something. I want to go with some used. After searching around, ain't nobody trying to give no trucks away. I mean, they just expensive. There's a truck that I'm looking at. And then I gotta compare it, not a comparative, but a similar truck at the Columbus Motor Works for $12,000. It's a utility truck. It will have, it's a V8 F-250 with utility pockets. So that way we can store and bring in equipment. The other truck that I got from Donahoe Chevrolet is a 2000. That truck is a 2003 Ford. Sorry. That's the from Columbus Motor Works. The other one is a 2002 Ford. I'm sorry, not 13,000, 12,000. 2002 Ford F-250 with 120,000 miles on it. And they were $12,000 after tax, title, and all those. Well, not tax, but fees for that. The other truck from Donahoe Auto, that's a comparator. No, pass it around. The other truck from Donahoe Auto, that's a comparator, is 2023 Chevy F1, right? I mean, well, I'm comparing a new truck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm comparing what a new truck costs right now.
All right, yeah.
I couldn't get any Fords that were fleet Fords, and a fleet truck is just a basic truck, meaning it don't have touch screen in it. It's just a basic truck, work truck. And this is with the government discount or government rate, $42,586.50. I think that's insane, but that's how much stuff costs. There were no Fords. I reached around to some Ford dealerships. They had not got back with me yet. But we need a truck. Gotta have a truck.
Why does this agree at Columbus Motor? Like, what
So-
Columbus Motor do to fix it?
So Columbus Motor got that particular truck came from the University of Alabama. So once they get a certain mileage, they get University of Alabama get rid of them. And so he had a whole fleet of trucks from at Columbus Motor Works from the University of Alabama. I saw the sticker on some of them that was still stuck from there. But I mean, that's with the toolbox on it. It's got
$250.
it's an F-250.
$250, yeah.
Yeah, Columbus Motor in downtown Columbus. So, they got some good reviews. They got, I mean, I know people that bought this stuff from them that's still running. Tom Young, yeah. So I will, like to take some action so we don't get, because I don't want. Well, so I need to do this.
So you wanna do pavement,
We're gonna pay good.
you wanna get together,
I'm gonna ask, what I gotta first get,
this is Bob,
first I gotta get numbers from y'all. I'm not gonna go in there and talk until I went in there and talked to him and say, hey, what do you want for it? But if I can get him a list and I can write him a check right now for it, then maybe he'll give me $1,000, $2,000 off. But I didn't want to go in there marketing and don't have authority to purchase something major like this.
and have you, looked at the value?
The Blue Book value? The blue, I did look at the blue. That's a good question. I think it was right. I think it was right around the same for that, but I couldn't compare it because they have a toolbox. It's never with a toolbox on it with the mileage or whatever. So the toolbox gonna make it go up. And when I say toolbox, it's like the water trucks. You know. Oh well, I'm sorry. I got you. I forgot what I'm talking about. But just for anybody who don't know. It's the bed of the truck is only gonna be that size, but then it has boxes on the truck that are on both sides of it, and it allows you to put things in it. So
Runs good.
it runs
Put the name
good.
there, so I can drive it.
It runs good. They don't. It's a used truck. You're not gonna get a warranty with a used truck, but like I said, the truck came from. He keeps good vehicles. I mean.
We bought some and sent some people over to get some, so I'm.
I don't think that's bad at all. I think that's completely reasonable. I just, why I'm asking what's wrong with it.
Yeah. So when I saw it, I was shocked. I mean, it got 120,000 miles.
That's not
But
bad.
those miles have been at University of Alabama,
Yeah.
and pretty much on campus. So it ain't so much dollar you can do on campus. Well, I'm gonna try to negotiate and see what we can get lower, and but the maximum that I'll spend is 1210.
Easy motion.
Yes, to get not the 43,000. I don't say because if anybody getting the 40,000 truck, I want to get 4,000 truck. But right now we can't. Like I said, at this point we don't need it. And that's a base truck. So, but anyway, I entertain a motion to approve the Columbus Motor Works for 12.
Second.
Been moved and second. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Any opposed? All right, and I'll let y'all know what happens ASAP. We do need to meet before we get too far about our y'all hear me now?
Crew.
We need to meet about a work session afterwards, so just be not work session, executive session, for about 5 minutes, to discuss internal. So I just want to make sure we know that before we go through the rest of the stuff. Accounts payable. Is there any question about the bills? Then, because there's no question about the bills, all those in favor of paying the bills as presented, let it be known by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Opinion of the chair, the ayes have it. Motion carries. Police department, they out and about getting a lot of calls. Chief want to make sure we recognize those, that people know to lock your doors. Don't fall for scams as always, and be vigilant. If you see something, say something, do something. Did I get it wrong?
Yeah.
Well, I thought
What you do?
okay, all right. How it go, Ms. Ball?
See something, say something, it'll stop something.
See something, say
All
something,
right.
it will stop something.
I like that.
So that's one of the things that we want to emphasize definitely. Street department,
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Just want to report, I got one young man getting ready to retire. He's done his 25 plus. His name is Jeff McCoy. And he wants everybody to know that it's been a joy working for the city of Alice.
When's his last day?
28.
Yeah, so we definitely gonna do
Thank you,
something
thank
with Jeff, and,
Yeah.
he was, hey, and I think if we needed him, he would still help us out here now and then. But, he was, and I wanna kind of take this moment to talk about him. When we didn't have a sanitation driver, Mr. Jeff was a sanitation driver.
Yeah.
So and for a good while at our beginning of this council starting, we didn't have a sanitation driver. I think we went through about 2 or 3 of them. Who wanted to drive and it wasn't what they wanted and, left for whatever reason, but he decided to forego his retirement so that way we would have at least one backup driver. This crew is a driver, but he needs a supervisor, so he can't drive and supervise at the same time. So that being said, Mr. Jeff, he's always there. Dedicated employee. If he said he was gonna do it, he was gonna be there. Like I said, we're gonna send him off nice. Just say thank you to him because he definitely worked it 25 plus years, and it's something to be proud of. So thank him for his service, and like I said, we're looking forward to him resting in his second retirement. But definitely thank you for that. Day. Also. Well, yes.
I have a question. Are there any jobs opening in that department street?
No. Mr. Jeff was part-time, but he worked hours as needed. But right now, I'm full right now. I got open head police. Okay.
My dog, yes.
So with our fire department, Mr. Jones, he had to step out on the call, or so he's not able to speak. But I'll let him talk about that in the next report. I'm not gonna steal his thunder. But Chamber of Commerce report.
The Christmas great. Thank you to everyone that helped with the Christmas great. This is great. And we had over 30 entries, so that was great. And until the next event.
Yeah, that'll work. It was bad. A lot of people talked about how good it was organized. So shout out to Ms. Jody, to the chamber, to the city workers, to Ms. Susan, to whoever it is. Don't give me stuck on name. Thank you for whatever it is that you did to make it happen. We appreciate it. And we need you to do it again next year. Museum report. As far as the museum, they had a Christmas singing last week. It went well, as far as I know. As far as Mr. Gillum said, they will restart their writer series back in January. And we got 3 more writers. One will be in January, one will be in February, and the other one will close out in March. So those are normally on Thursdays. So you have to check the museum page or go to the City of Aliceville page and find it out. Ain't nobody either. On January the 12th, 10th, on January the 10th, we will have our second business Aliceville and Aliceville area business meeting for Aliceville businesses. This is meant to help empower businesses who are currently here, or if you're thinking about starting a business. We have West Alabama Works that's jumped on board with us. We have
West Alabama Regional Commission,
West Alabama Regional Commission,
the Department of Commerce,
the Department of Commerce, and who else? And Department of Labor, I think.
Yeah.
They may want to come. I think they'll do something. So anyway, we're bringing people in. So the resources are going to be provided for you. So if you need loans, if you need help with business plan, there's something new that's coming in that's gonna be for all of Pickens County. That's funded through the SBA's our business association funded through the University of Alabama, where they're actually gonna teach people how to write a business plan, how to start a business. And these are free resources that are gonna be available. But on January the 10th, which is one day before my birthday, January the 10th, which is one day before my birthday, we're gonna have this event for the all the businesses in Aliceville. Lunch will be provided. Yes, it'll be at City Hall from 11 to 1
To two.
to 2,
Never to
from 11 to 2, and it will be worth your time.
be worth the time.
It will definitely be worth the time. Resources, definitely. The food will be good, but the resources will be better.
I have a question.
Go ahead.
So you've been a commissioner also. The question I have is the board that, like Pickens County was, is it still active? There was over development. At one time they went around and bought the Western House and Jackson was involved in, like, what's called the Pickens
The
County.
industrial board,
Huh?
the industrial board is still at.
For the Pickens County.
Yeah.
Okay, still active.
But they don't
hear that.
they don't need a lot. They be there as needed. Most of the time what we do is tax abatements for businesses when they want to come in. We do try to do acquisitions when people want to come in and say, hey, we're looking for this type of business or this type of area. Do you have an area that's normally where your fielders come in? We don't know what business it is, and then we'll do it, and then we'll meet as necessary. So we probably meet like once a quarter, but it's not a lot to meet about. We hired a developer at one time. I'm not a developer, consultant. We hired a consultant to come in, but we're so small that the money they charged us, which was, it was a decent amount of money, $40,000 to $50,000 a year. You're not gonna see any results until 2 to 3 to 4 years from the time you do it. And a lot of people, might have thought that was wasting money. So, you know what I'm saying? But you gotta reach out and try. But like I said, that's kind of where we at. But it's a few of us still on the board. It's still active. I think like that.
I don't know a lot about it.
No, it's not. Now they do like I said, mainly abatements and provide resources to the industrial board, like City of Aliceville Industrial Board. Mr. What's the chairman's name? Mr.
Tony Johnson.
Tony Johnson, he's our chairman. Did I answer the question? All right, I start from this side. Mr. Wilkins, you got something?
Our next council meeting will be when?
Next council meeting should be on the
28th.
28th. All right.
Council meeting gonna be here, they gonna cook.
Is that a good time for all the council members? 28th, is that still good, or do we need to move to a different date?
Do something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah, I'm saying, but somebody might gonna be out. I'll be here, man. That's all. I just wanna know.
I know we can't have it on the 26th at 12.
Yeah,
Don't do that, you know.
you got the
All right. Anything else, council?
No.
Miss, council.
I don't know.
All right, council. Council.
One else, I'd like for all council members, ride down by airport. All those buildings down there now looks like buildings. They're clean, they'll be painted, they'll be remodeled, the place like a whole showcase. Down the airport. Y'all been there lately, right there and you'll see. It's like a showcase down the airport now. From corner to corner, I go in and look with I ride through Tampa Way. I don't want to sit right there, We got a lot of comments about our tree when they make the curve, like a showcase up here. Oh, wait a minute, yeah. up here with trees, triple Christmas trees. Make the turn and have light look so good right there.
Yeah, that was.
Okay, you got like a lot of comment about that. When I go into different places, it just was all positive. And the next one is about a trailer park. If I leave it for you,
It's not a trailer park. It's called a mobile home park. We're gonna stop calling it a trailer park. We're gonna start calling it a mobile because, and the reason I ain't saying that to be funny.
Yeah.
I say that because there's a connotation that goes with when you say trailer park.
Okay.
But there's a different connotation when you say mobile home park because it's just a home with wheels. So it's a mobile home park. If we start changing people's mindset on what it is, then maybe the mentality will change. But we're gonna talk about that in our work session because not work session, executive session because we have some legalese things to discuss.
But we're gonna touch base about the parade, but I was there too.
Yeah.
Grand Marshal,
Where she at?
right there.
Yeah.
Girl, if I was throwing money at you, now you didn't even see money coming. You right on top of that converter. Look, congratulations to you. Assist on the young Grand Marshal. I know we don't cover that. But lately, and everything has been positive and good come to me. And I hear a ton, I was hearing a ton of complaint every day. And some of it is lies, some of it is true. But anyway, everything that's good, and I hope they keep the good work. But at the airport, y'all will be impressed with the airport. It was like a showcase down there. It's right down there.
Okay. Hey, don't get on the runway.
Nothing, just want to talk about, Mr. Wilder. Councilman Wilder didn't, say, but
I
on
said it to you.
on the 26th of December, Monday, the 26th of December, from 9:45 a.m. to 2:30 p.m. at the Aliceville Activity Center. We'll be having, this will be having a 16th annual countywide senior citizen Christmas celebration program honoring all seniors. So this is not just a black thing, this is a white, who want to come. You're welcome, Reform, Carrollton, Gordo, Aliceville. So we hope to see you there.
Clap for
Is it? Okay, hey, that's good, that's good. The only thing I got is, if you still want to decorate your house, please call City Hall. Once you decorate it, we're gonna give out first place, we're gonna give out second place, and we're gonna give out third place. So I see some great decorations, so we wanna recognize those who are in the Christmas spirit. Thank you, and like I said, I don't have anything else. Merry Christmas to everybody. And after we see you, it'll be after Christmas. So, is there any other thing from Mr. Sanders, did you have anything from the board? Okay, I apologize. If there's not, I'm gonna ask to entertain 10 minutes for our executive session to discuss legal matters for proper 10 minutes, and we will not reconvene after our session. Been moved to second. All those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Everybody have a good night.
But I ain't gonna mess with Christmas.